Right, I'm going to try and dye this medic pouch in Desert camouflage, and this one is DPM, which is a Crusader PCB mess pouch, cook pouch, with this Dylon black velvet hand wash dye, and see how that goes. I mean, I don't expect it to be black, but darker, perhaps because my bag is dark. I'm attaching these two by Molly. Right, let's get the stuff going and we'll see how it goes. This is the patrol pack I want to attach those to. And as you can see, the colours, they're dark camo. It's basically a black multi-tone, multi-cam. And I'm going to attach them on these back Molly pockets. So, well, I'll do a little video of it when it's done and we'll see what it's like. Hopefully they're not too blue, because if it looks blue, as long as they're darker, I mean, it's better than what it was, say. Right, I've put 250 grams of sugar, sorry, not sugar, salt into this bucket. You need to add salt to this. And then, I know it's not how they tell you to do it, but you've got to dilute the salt down. I'm boiling a kettle of water now, which I'll put in here to get that salt down nice, you know, mixed in, boiling water. Then I'll add cold to it. Then I'll use my trusty thermometer to get my 40 degrees. And then I will make up the dye powder and add it to it. But I'm not doing the 6 litres because I've only got 2 small pouches. So I'm only going to do about, well, I was going to say 3 litres, but realistically I'm going to do enough to cover my pouches. So whatever that turns out at. I think a bucket holds 10 litres, so I've got scale marks on there. Right, all that salt's dissolved. I'll put boiling water in, and I've put in about 1.5 litres, because I'm going to cool this down with some cool water. But it's got to be at 40 odd degrees total, but I don't know, I might push that above that, get it about 50, and it'll cool down, because you've got to leave it 45 minutes. So if I have it about 50, it's going to cool down and stay warm. You know, this is the guideline instructions. What's going to happen for the worst? It's going to go wrong, but you know, do what you've got to do. Right, I've got this jug now with 500 ml just over, 45 degree water. So let's get the packet cut and pour it in. Right. Well, that was good. Right, it's in there. It does look blue. I've heard it does look blue. Right, now I'm going to go and get my pouches. They've got to be damp before you put them in. I'll just put the pouches in. Straight away they look like they're getting dye on them, but we know they've got a PVC inner because they're semi-waterproof resistant, so we know that won't dye. But whether I can get the darker look is what I'm after. DPM, I'm hoping that doesn't go black, I'm hoping that just goes like a dark DPM. And the other one's a desert, hopefully that'll just be a dark camo as well. Well, they've got to stay, so they're not submerging, they've got to stay in there for 45 minutes, stir every 15 or so. I've got about, with the pouches in, it's 5 litres of water, but the pouches are obviously displacing that. Let's give it a little bit and then we get back to it. Managed to wedge it down with a bit of wood so it all stays under. And I'll leave it for a bit now. Come back and stir it in a bit. Let's do a temperature check. 44, just creeping up to 45, so we'll see what that sustains at. We'll check it again in a bit. Right, it's been running for an hour. Well, not running, but in there an hour. Temperature was about 49, wasn't it? 48, and it's down to about 36, 37. Right, when I put this in, this wood, it went blue. Now look at it, it's pretty much black, isn't it? And it's been in there for about half an hour, 40 minutes. Right, I've watched a video recently, 10 minutes ago, half hour ago. A guy tried to dye olive green his Bergen. It's a DPM Bergen, PLCE, same as this pouch. And he didn't know what would happen. It's the only video I found doing it. And at the end, it came out. He did it in the washing machine with 2 packets of dye. It came out after he'd done the second wash to wash out residue, and it was identical to going in. Perhaps, well, obviously it was cleaner. It didn't do anything. Material didn't dye at all. So this could happen to this, but I'm not going to wash it in a washing machine. I'm going to rinse it, hand rinse it, and then I'm going to let it dry naturally in the air, and we'll see if I wash all the colour out, see what happens. Back to you in a bit. Right, I haven't put it in the washing machine and done a wash on it. As you can see, it's still dripping colour. I've rinsed it, and I've taken a lot of the colour out, and I'm going to let it drip dry, because I feel like the more I rinse, the more colour I'm taking out of this. As you can see, that's very dark camo still, which is exactly what I wanted. I just don't want it to drip colour once it dries. When I say once it dries, I mean if it rains on me and it starts to drip colour because it's not fast. So this is the best I'm going to get. This could end up going back to its original colour, because that's what I've seen it doing on the internet videos. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not washing it. If I kept on washing and washing, I'd wash out all the black. Let's see what it's like when it's dry. And then when it's dry, what I'll do is I'll probably wet the small one again and see if I can get colour out once it's totally dry. And if colour still comes out, I know it'll come out when it rains. So let's see if that, well, let's just see what happens. Nothing else can be said in it, let's just see what happens. I'll go back to them, take them out in the daylight when they're dry. Hopefully it'll be tomorrow, it's nice and warm at the moment. Okay, you can see they're dripping out colour. I don't want to wash it fully because I know I'll wash it out. Alright then, I'll make the rest of the video tomorrow, put it all together, and we'll go over it and talk about is it worth it. Right, it's next morning, they're dry. The colour sort of like really came out of the DPM, but this one's held a bit, and this one's the one that was washing out more. Definitely a lot darker. This one, well, obviously I think it's darker if you compare it to the hydration pack. I'll do a little before and after, you know, second of before, second of after, and then, you know, you'll see. What it was like. It's darker. Well, that's the result. Was it worth it? I don't know. you're not getting what you want, but it's darker. So, but I didn't wash all the ink out for the dye. There's a chance that's going to run when it's wet. I think that, to be honest, it'd be cheaper just to buy and easier, and you know you're guaranteed just to buy another pouch. They're only under a tenner, £10–12 to buy a BCB Crusader cook set pouch. I'd get a Mark II pouch as well, so it's slightly longer, so you can get more in it, especially you can get a new kit in it. And a medic pouch, no, yeah, just buy another pouch. That's what I think I'd do anyway. So was it overall worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. I've got pouches, they're darker. If they go back to original, I've still got the pouches. And I got that little one for 50p at the car boot sale, so yeah.